Welcome to Season 2 of Producer Points. My name is Justin Gamella, and I'll be your host. I'm a producer and songwriter who's had the honor of working with some of the best in the industry. This season, we're diving even deeper into one-on-one conversations with producers, mixers, songwriters, and artists, exploring their unique journeys, creative process, and insights that shape great music. Join me for real talks, straight from the studio, where music and life intersect. This is Producer Points. Today on Producer Points, I'm thrilled to introduce a producer and songwriter whose work has propelled him into the ranks of the industry's most in-demand talents. After the success of Dasha's Austin, he burst onto the scene with a signature sound that feels vibrantly alive, like you're right there in the room with the artist. His dynamic approach to production and songwriting has attracted a roster of collaborators, including Claire Rosenkranz, Mercer Henderson, Aimee Vant, Abigail Osborn, and many more. With an ear for crafting immersive sonic landscapes, he's become a trusted creative partner for artists seeking authenticity and impact. I'm excited to dive into his process, his journey, and the stories behind his standout records. Please welcome Travis Heidelman. Dude, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I've been really looking forward to this. We've been texting for a couple months now, but we've never met in person. So this was like a long time coming. Well, dude, thank you so much for being here. It's been so crazy to see. When we were first talking, Austin was just sort of starting to bubble, and it's become this huge hit. Dasha. See what I did there?
Yeah.
Dasha's, and I fucked it up in the intro, didn't I? I did.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
okay. Forgive me, Dasha. She's become such a huge country artist and just artist in general. But we always start the podcast off with how you got your start and how you made it into this industry. So what's the Travis Heidelman story?
Right. So I come from a very non-musical family, so I'm very much so an exception to the rule in that capacity. I was a god-awful piano student, not because I was bad at piano, I was just a pain in the ass.
How old were you when you first started?
I started 5.
Yeah, same.
5 or 7, so I started super young. Yeah. And the thing was that I had undiagnosed perfect pitch.
Oh.
And so for a while, I was always catching things by ear when my piano teacher was trying to teach me to read by sight. And there was stuff that he was doing that was he was trying to teach me jazz on grand staff, which is not how you do jazz. And so I was very obstinate. I was a pain in the ass, and I always wanted to do my own thing. And then around 13 or 14, I started to figure out okay, there's GarageBand on iPad, there's Logic 9, and I did a garage sale when I was 12 or 13, and I sold off all my Nintendo DS games and all my toys.
Wow.
And I shelled up right about to $200 and bought Logic.
Also, let's think about that for a second. For $200, you can get a professional.
It was and it was a great DAW. I mean, I saw so many professionals using it, and I had tried out I'd gotten to a class, this little thing with Pro Tools before, and I didn't find it as inspiring, especially at 13.
No, because there's not. It's you can't just get the basics of Pro Tools and make a record.
No, you need to deep dive.
Right. It's like Logic. It's you can make a fully functioning sounding song with everything just in Logic.
Yeah, and now I use Pro Tools as well for vocals because it's the best for that.
It's way better.
Yeah. And so I did that, and I sucked for a long time. Took me a year to learn how to quantize. And over the course of high school, I started producing my own original music just under my own name, just for myself, and just to try it out and get the muscle going.
Yeah, I didn't know. So were you singing and stuff too?
Yeah,
I had no idea.
No, don't look it up.
Yeah.
But it's cool because that sort of let me build up the skill set, let me build up the muscle, and then when it came time, and when I went off to college, I started producing for artists that were just in my class and other people who were around me.
And for our listeners, where did you go to college?
I went to Berklee College of Music. And so it was great. And I think the most underrated part of Berklee is that it's a safe space to mess it up.
Yeah.
And it's not in an industry city. And I think that's actually an advantage to the experience.
I think so.
Because if you're in USC or you're in Belmont and you're in Nashville or LA and you're also branching out into the industry, you're bursting that safe bubble of, you flubbed an introduction, you messed up an artist relationship, and it's you're a student by the time you drop out or graduate, it doesn't matter. Yeah,
that's really interesting thought about Berklee. It's so funny, when I started doing music full time 10 or 15 years ago now, there was always a joke, even among Berklee students, where it was you went to Berklee, whatever. Yeah. And now I feel it's been the last 5-10 years, your generation of Berklee students, where it's I don't know what they've done to the program, but they're like pumping out such great songwriters and producers now. It seems like. I really, and I think it's like kind of what you're saying, where it's like you guys are all in there and you're just collaborating, and you're like, when you come to LA, you're just so ready.
My entering class was like, is kind of crazy. We have Salem Elise and Lizzie McAlpine in my class. It's like kind of crazy. So it's like, there definitely was a good pool of talent coming in. And I think so much of what's interesting about an environment like that is that I think like you find success and like experience in that by not necessarily thriving within the Berklee system.
Right.
And like the people who do all the CAF shows and all the like BPC performances never have to go out into Boston and book their own show.
Right.
and it's like all the people who spend all the time in their own in the Berklee studios like never build a home setup. And so it's like there's an element of you have to thrive in spite of Berklee sometimes.
Yeah. I think that's true. Yeah.
And I think like when you come out to LA with some experience of like self-reliance and having initiated stuff within the Berklee environment, within the, and I've been given the opportunity to go back to Berklee and give talks. So
Awesome.
I actually, because of my work with Aimee Vant last year, I got to go back with her.
Love Aimee. Yeah.
And James, and we gave a talk. And one of the biggest things that I was just trying to get across to them is the best thing you have there is each other.
Right.
There's so many people who go there and only ever do stuff on their own. And they're like, I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to self-produce. I'm going to write everything myself, mix, master, publish, release, distribute, market. There's 12 elements that go into a successful release of a song. Everyone sucks at most of them.
I don't know anyone that's like doing absolutely everything themselves and like being able to like do that full time and not get burnt out and want to kill themselves like after.
Seriously, they're always like, there's always a bit of bitterness.
Yes.
There's always like this jadedness around that.
I don't know. Collaboration is such a beautiful thing, and working with other people is such a beautiful thing. And I think it's something that you learn as you grow and you get older. Is that asking for help is not weak or is not less cool.
No, this industry's hard enough.
Right.
Like we have each other. It's like community is the most important. I mean, so much of, the moment with Austin was like, it was the artistic infrastructure that Dasha built around the song, really. But it was like coming from, her manager signed on because he heard the demo. Right. And Version 3, the indie label that pushed her, like loved her music. And she was picky as all hell when it came to people who were passionate and people who weren't just going to thumbs up react. People who were going to be uninvolved. She wanted people who signed on for her and who would go to war for her. She's
one of the few artists I feel like she shut up so quickly it seemed. But when I heard Boots for the first time, and then I saw her Instagram and everything, I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense. Everything the vision just seemed so clear. The branding was just like, so you just clicked on that page and you're like, oh, of course, like this all makes perfect sense. It seems genuine. It doesn't seem forced. Like, sometimes I'll go and hear a song on Spotify that Spotify pushes me and I really like it, and then I'll go look at like the artist page and it's like, you ain't ready yet. Like you have a sound, but like everything else around it is not there yet. And you go to Dasha and you're just like, Dasha, I'm going to keep messing that up. You go to Dasha and it was just, it was one of the things that like really impressed me right away, where I was like, oh, like she knows who she is. Like it's so blatantly obvious.
Yeah, no, she comes into a room, and just the first session I ever had with her, she came in and I was just like, she lights this room on fire. Yeah. In a way that like.
Those are the people that when you get that feeling when you're in a room with someone where you're like, oh, like you're the real thing.
Yeah.
It's so rare, but as producers and songwriters, it's like when you feel that with someone, like you gotta latch on, even if the infrastructure isn't quite there yet. But there are some people who I've worked with where I was like, oh, I have a good feeling about you, and not to tap myself on the shoulder or pat myself on the back too much, but it's like I have a pretty good radar for that, and that's the one thing I tell people, like, if you have that feeling in your gut, like, fucking get in there and do the thing, like work for free, like latch on, because those artists are so few and far between. That's crazy. So when you graduate, and I'm like, we're going on tangents here. No, but you graduate, where do you start working? Are you in Nashville first, LA, Boston?
So taking a step back from that, so I'm from LA, so I'm a fifth generation Angelino. So
that's rare.
Yeah, no, we are like unicorns.
Yeah.
So I was born in Lake Santa Monica, raised up in Camarillo, so Ventura County. So always came back into the city. It's funny. It's like recording this in December is where like people are like, oh yeah, I'm heading home. Yeah, I'm already here.
Yeah, it's like this is where I'm at.
But it was an advantage because so when I was in Berkeley, I started to explore the different majors. And one of the best things there is you go in, everyone goes in undeclared. You can't declare your major until you're like 2 semesters in.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
And it's great because there's so much work in music that you're just not aware of.
Right.
And it's like, it forces you to actually like, okay, go to the career fair, see what all the options are, then choose what you're going to do.
Right.
And so I went in and I started applying. I was like, I'm going to apply for the MP&E major, the music production. And I got rejected. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the career department and hit them up and say like, hey, I want to build up my resumes for when I apply again. Right. Are there any internship opportunities? Or like, we don't give internships to freshmen. And I was like, fine, I'm going to go back to like my old high school contacts and see if they know anyone. And so I got to intern under this producer, Josh Segan, who taught me how to vocal produce. Sick. And so that I came back into school with that. And then back in 2019, I think I was a junior at the time. I had come back in December, and this old high school friend of mine hit me up and said, hey, this dad here is working with his daughter on some records, and like some labels have started to take an interest. I just think we should just go over to their house and hang with them for a bit. And I go over, I see the Pro Tool sessions. It's cool. The daughter's an absolute freaking talent. COVID happens. I'm just scrolling on TikTok, and I keep hearing the song. And I realized that I was, back in December, I was sitting in the room with Claire and Rosenkranz, and I was seeing the Backyard Boys session.
Yeah, oh, that's so cool.
And so Radnar goes from being totally 100% indie, no support whatsoever, to all of a sudden, like, having a Republic and, like, having all this, like, new responsibilities and new infrastructure to like work within, and he needs help. So he has me come on and help intern for him as an assistant.
Amazing.
So the beautiful thing was that even while I was still in school, I had like this runway. Right. And I had these opportunities. And I mean, especially now in retrospect, especially after this year, I'm so glad I got to see the moments with Claire and Radnar. Yeah. Surrounding like Backyard Boy and like that song, because it was like an education on, okay, this is what happens like when you create independent success. And like like how you handle the wake of like a viral moment. Yes. And so
it's so true. Like no one prepares you for that.
Yeah, everyone is, because also when you're in the thick of a moment like Austin or Backyard Boy or for you Build a Bitch, like it's. I mean, I remember the month after Austin, we could not go like 12 hours without a life-changing piece of news. Yeah. I would sit with Dasha's marketing team. They had to be consistent. They were like updating the Google Doc bio every like 3 hours. And like they would be like handing out press cards, and they'd have to like scribble out how many billion views it had on TikTok.
Yeah, dude, it's such a fun and like exhilarating time where you're just like, oh, cool. Good things can happen. Wow.
But it's the 15 minutes of fame, and not everyone's ready for minute 16. Yeah. And it's like when you're like, okay, how do you handle like the pressure of the follow up? How do you handle these things? And for me, it was kind of a masterclass, and it was great because I had like. I was able to like give Radnar a call once Austin started popping off. It was like, hey, walk me through sort of where your headspace was when all this happened. Right. And obviously it's different for him because he was approaching it not only as like a producer, but also as like a father.
Right. It's like his daughter getting so much fame, which is a whole nother bag. Like,
yeah, seriously. Yeah. But no, I mean, it was cool. So then I came back, and actually Megan pulled me into a camp while I was still like a student that
I just want to give her proper credit. It's Megan McLaughlin.
Megan McLaughlin. Yeah. Yeah. She pulled me into a camp that led to every single successful thing I've ever done in the music industry. And so it was a Berkeley Belmont crossover camp. Okay. And I met James and Aimee through that camp. And that's when we did Airbnb, which isn't a hit by any measure, but for whatever reason, it's an absolute industry darling. Yeah. And like all the people who heard it were like industry people. Yep. And they all loved it. So it was enough to just open the doors of LA to me when I arrived here, and got me in the sessions that I needed to get in. And Jeanette Porcello, who co-ran that camp, and she was at Atlantic Nashville at the time, like kept following up with me and James on our work together. And I stayed in touch with her. And in, I think, like November, when I was still living in Camarillo and I was commuting in to do sessions in LA, she hits me up and she's, hey, this artist is coming into town. You should work with her and do a session. And also you should pull this other artist in as a third. She's really great. Her name's Dasha. And so this like direct line of like stuff that I had done from this camp now has been good work yields more work. Yep. And all the things that like fell onto her radar eventually led me to work directly with Dasha. And yeah, from then, I mean, Dasha, when I met her, it's the only time I've seen an artist, I'm like, yeah, you're the absolute total complete package.
Yeah. Was she signed when you were first working with her?
So she was signed to an indie label, but she ended up leaving that indie label. Okay. And she like completely scrapped her whole team and everything that was like around her just because she like when she put out Dirty Blonde, which was the album before I signed on, she was still doing pop.
Right.
And she just loved, she was really proud of the work she did on that. But I remember watching an interview, she's like, something felt off about it.
Right.
And listening in retrospect is that she was writing country songs and she was disguising them in pop. Like if you listen to like Love Me Till August on that record, like that's a country song.
Dude, it's so funny you say that because, you know, someone else who had a huge year, Shabuzi.
Yeah.
We had his producer, Nevin Sastry, on, and I don't know if his episode will have dropped yet, but he was talking about the same thing where his first album, it was not really country, but then like you kind of tear it back and like it is. He's like, it's always what he wanted, but the label's like, I don't know if you should be doing this.
Yeah.
And then he eventually went on and did it and had huge success. But it's just so funny sometimes where artists are like afraid to be like who they really are.
I remember hearing like about Shane McAnally when he was like a songwriter and that he didn't have any like successful hits until he started living his life as an openly gay man.
Yeah.
It's like kind of interesting to see like authenticity in art and success within art are like tied together.
I'm the same. Like I found my most success when I was like, I need to stop trying to write like pop songs and start doing things that like are really feel more like me.
Yeah.
And like doing productions that like I feel like I can produce and not trying to produce out songs that I have no business producing out. And the second I started doing that is like when I had success, really. That's when I was just like, oh, that's interesting. Just not, I don't know. It was also just not worrying about impressing people and more just like trusting my own taste and my gut with all that. It's always just really, it's like advice I try and give everyone. It's just do what feels good to you and don't force yourself like into a square peg when you're around kind of a thing. Yeah, I mean, man, I feel like it was really quick. You're only 25. I'm like trying to like.
I'm acutely aware of how early this is happening for
I'm
me.
like, because so many people I talk to, it takes a couple of years to do the thing, and obviously you've been producing since you were a teenager.
Yeah.
And so you have those like 10 years, but it really is crazy. Like go to school, work with some artists, meet her, song blows up, and I don't want to get too much into Austin yet because we're going to talk about that later. But what are some of your, especially growing up and early days in Berkeley, what were some of your big influences, either artists or other producers that you felt like really resonated with you?
The first big influence I had in terms of inspiring me to start produce was Owl City.
Really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it was because I heard the story that he was just like making like Fireflies and Hello Seattle in his basement. And you don't need a large format studio to pull this off. And we're past that era.
Right.
And it was cool because I was like, okay, I can crack open Logic on my mom's computer and figure this out and start making music. And I think like for me at the same time I grew up, I'm like, my parents described me as like a victim of retro rock. So like all like the Journey, the Eagles, like all that stuff. And at the same time, like in terms of what prepared me for the more country stuff was specifically like it was like one bluegrass record. It was the Alison Krauss and Union Station Paper Airplane.
Yes.
One of the best records of ever. Yes. It's just like the storytelling in that, the instrumentation, the performances.
Yeah.
So when it came time for me to become like Travis, the country producer, like I went back to that stuff.
Yeah.
And I've always loved like singer-songwriter. And I'm part of, I think Owl City once described himself as I'm like 90% like happy music over the most depressing lyrics you've ever seen in your life. And I mean like all the storytelling, all the that stuff always attracted me. And like, even like the early Zed, like I mean Clarity by Zed was like,
oh dude,
that was a revelation for me.
That first, was it the first out? That's the first album? Like, I was obsessed.
And even then, True Colors afterwards was also incredible.
I mean, everything he does is always really great. But it was like those first two albums where you're just like, oh, like no one is doing this.
Yeah.
This is just so, no EDM producer is doing what this guy's doing. I was so obsessed with that. I tried making music like him and I failed so hard.
Oh yeah, same.
It's like, I cannot. Nope, that not for me.
Because he was like classically trained pianist, doing it was nutty, and it still is. And
God, and he's like
still
mixing
so good.
and mastering everything himself for the most part. Just,
those early EDM producers, I feel like, like him, like Madeon, like Gray, like just such a fantastic lineup of like stuff from them, and also a lot of the mainline pop of the 2010s really caught my attention. It was like really clean
and punchy and fun. And I like that, like, where the 2020s are kind of like an answer to that, and that it's like opposite, right?
Yeah.
It's really fun. And it's funny that you mentioned bluegrass, because I think that's what I like. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest country fan, because the country that I lean towards is the country that has bluegrass roots in it. And those are the ones where it's like, but especially Austin, where I listen to that, and it's like, I like this because it's not like this kind of like super polished modern country. It's like everything is really well engineered.
Yeah.
But I think that's what you do really well on your more country records, that it's got bluegrass roots, which I fucking love. Like I love Alison Krauss, but the one specifically that got me into bluegrass, and then I explored more of Alison Krauss after, was the record she did with Robert Plant, Raising Sands. Is that what it's called? Do you ever listen to that one?
I think so.
You should.
Okay.
It like won all the Grammys that year. It
Right.
was like a thing where it was just like, because like T-Bone produced it, Burnett, and it's called Raising Sands. It's like his collaboration, Robert Plant and Alison Krauss, and it's like mostly covers, but it is one of the most beautiful sounding albums I've ever heard in my life. And it was when I was like introduced to bluegrass, and I was like, I think I was 15 or 16 at the time when it came out. So it was like such like a whoa, so good. And like, how do you get bass tones like that? Like, it's like the T-Bone Burnett thing. It's just something I still can't quite comprehend, except that it's like, oh, he uses good microphones and good engineers. And like,
and it really, like, a lot of it is like just great performances. Well and that was part of Austin too.
Yeah. So we're and it's just also his thing, for our listeners who don't know, T-Bone Burnett's thing is like, play softly. Mm-hmm. That's so much of play softly and close miking. Yeah. Which is like the craziest.
You get that proximity effect.
Yeah, that's what, like, all the things that like they tell you in school, maybe you know better than I, because I didn't go to school for music, but like they're like, don't mic it too close, you're gonna get a proximity effect. And it's like, I think people
like proximity effect.
It's like, I think people like that. It's like, I think that's what people like. And it's like, we have tools now that like any problems that you get from proximity effects, you can just fix after.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm a fan of like a little just like low end bump in the vocal.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's just so crazy how for so many years everyone's like, proximity effect is bad. Don't get super close to the mic. And it's like, I think that's what we want nowadays.
Yeah, it was always funny when I was like, because I learned the large format studio engineering, all the rules and
biggest quotes possible.
Yeah, it's just I always use like a 57 on the snare. I'm like, I want to use a 414 on the snare. I want to have some cracked. I don't want to have to sample replace everything.
Yeah, are you a Beatles fan at all?
A Beatles fan, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a huge Beatles fan. There's this really amazing book that I encourage almost every producer to read. It's called Here, There, and Everywhere. It's by Jeff Emmerich. He was.
It's available for audiobook.
I don't know. It probably is. It must be. But anyway, it's an amazing read, whether you're Beatles fans or not. But the big takeaway from that book, something that I learned after I first read it, is so much of the Beatles' success is that they were not following the rules. And like, for some of our listeners, or maybe you didn't know, that like the studios back in like the 50s and 60s, it was like literally you were not allowed to mic things other than the specific way.
Right.
It wasn't even like a rule, quote unquote. It was like, no, like you have to mic the cello like this or else you're going to get fired.
Right. Yeah.
And it was only because of how successful the Beatles were that the Beatles were able to do things that like they weren't, quote unquote, supposed to do. Anyway, it's an amazing read. I'd suggest everyone listen to it.
The whole like supposed to do things a certain way. Because also when I was in like the different systems of music education, whether that my internships, whether that was like mentoring or like YouTube video. I mean, the amount of times that like I eventually stopped watching YouTube videos because I was so tired of like the 5 EQ mistakes. Yeah. Every producer, and I'm just like, it's like half it's, you boosted the EQ. And it's like, what? And then eventually like I just started to realize I had 3 different mixing professors when I was at Berkeley. Yeah. One of them told me, I mix into a bus EQ, but not any bus compression. One of them was like, I mix into like fully processed bus with a bus limiter. And then the third professor was like, don't mix it with anything on your bus. I'm like, you are all coming up with your own sets of rules. And that's how you're each getting your sounds. And it's okay that you have those, but don't act like it's the definitive way. Yes. And it's a matter of, okay, try out these different flavors. Try out like mixing without anything on your bus. Mm-hmm. Try out mixing with like way overcooked like ozone setting. Right. But like, it's at the end of the day, it's all flavor and
it's all taste, and it's all like how you like to work. And some people like to make a custom mix bus for every song. Some people like me, I like to have my mix bus that like I'll do kind of little tweaks to, but I'm mostly producing and mixing into that. Mm-hmm. Just so I think that's how I personally get records out quickly. Same. So good. I'm actually glad we're diving into Mixbus because it was actually the next thing on the list here. Oh. How do you So you kind of were talking about it. You like to work into your Mixbus.
Yeah.
What's the reason behind that process, and what do you like to keep on the Mixbus?
So when it comes to my Mixbus, it's pretty consistent across
Yeah.
the board. It's Oxford Inflator, always.
Yep.
It's the API 2500 from the UAD.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of OTT more recently. Either that or
what's
else,
that percentage that you go up to?
oh, it's like 5.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like it's very dialed
Yeah.
back. I changed the default from like 100 to like
Yeah,
that.
no, it's don't even put it at 100.
No.
Especially on the Mixbus.
It's yeah. But then I also have the Native Instruments passive EQ.
Oh,
I love that one.
Yeah, I've used it maybe once in my life.
A couple of the SSL plugins from the SSL Fusion stuff.
Dude, they make great things.
Do the space knob on the Fusion
Yeah,
imager.
their bus compressor is what's my like mixed bus compressor. I really like that guy.
Well, I know it's so good. I have a very specific black box setting that I go into.
Are you using the mid-side one or the regular one?
It's a regular one.
Yeah.
I got it as like a freebie a couple of years ago and figured out a setting where it's just like shaves off 3-4 dB of headroom without affecting the sound too much.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And I'm just like, great, more loudness.
Yeah.
And then I go straight into Waves L3.
Okay.
And yeah, just it's enough to the point where I love the whole like LA producer philosophy of you use the demo to sell the song.
Yes.
And it's kind of been like interesting with Nashville culture on demo. It's a bit different.
It honestly, it used to be like that in LA, where you could like really have a super dumbed down version of your song and people would get it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's been maybe especially since COVID, where like these people they just want it done. They want to see the vision right away in a demo. They don't want to wait for it anymore.
I like that fluff. I
Yeah.
like the challenge of like sell them on the day one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, great. So you get it like 80-90% of the way there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's cool. It's fun. I still enjoy like sending my stuff off to mixers and hearing them make it even
Dude,
better.
It's the best.
Yeah. No, I love.
I
not
never
mixing
want to
my
mix
stuff.
my own stuff. It's just
Gosh, I'm so happy that I'm done with that era.
Yeah, it's okay, cool.
I just have budget now.
I've always I've been lucky where I think I've mixed only one record that I produced. I've always been able to like have mixers do it.
I was not for a while.
Yeah.
But my artists were like dumb broke, and I was like, okay, I'm mixing this.
Yeah, I was able to build enough relationships where I was always able to like get my friends to be like, yo, like I really love this record. Can you do it on the cheap?
All right.
And that's what I tell a lot of producers too. It's like, become friends with mixers. One, because being friends with mixers is such a wonderful, beautiful relationship.
Yeah,
but
it's
you
great.
can like scratch each other's backs. Be like, hey, I believe in this project. I can tell the artist to like give you a point on this.
Yeah.
If you could mix it at a lower price or even for free. And yeah, and it's just like a way. And because the mixers trust me, they're like, cool, you're doing it. Like, this is not going to be a pain in the ass to mix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's the difference too. Mixers don't want to mix things for cheap.
Yeah.
When they're like, I don't trust this fucking producer. I don't know how much time this is going to take. Versus like when they get a mix from me, not always, but like the mixers I work with, where it's, they're usually getting it done in 1 or 2 versions or whatever you want to call it.
There was one piece of advice that was given to me by he was sort of more of a mixer and an engineer, but now he's more of a producer. This guy Randy Belcafina, he did the whole like last tones in my album.
Okay, cool.
But he told me, and he gave this advice to mix engineers and to producers. He's like, whenever you do something for a point or for free, send them an invoice with your normal rate with a discount, even if it's a $0 invoice.
That's smart.
But it's just enough to remind them, like, hey, like you're doing this, like I'm stepping down my normal value for you for this project because I believe in it, and this is an active, itemized reminder.
That's a baller move.
Yeah, and it's a power play. And I'm like, it's great because there's so many times that like when I was younger, I got myself into trouble by undervaluing myself.
Yeah.
And or all these things, and it was just like he's been a homemade to me, and like he's been one of those people who's just like a core part of my community. But
Yeah.
I always thought that was like a great piece of advice. Just
That's
from the business
amazing.
end.
Yeah, it's like I would have never thought to have done that.
Yeah.
It's
And
a ballsy move though.
Another thing for me, going back to the Berkeley stuff.
Yeah.
When I was there with my time, one of the other best decisions that I made is that when I got rejected from the production major, I also decided to double with the business major. And it's the only place where you go to a business major because you know you want something.
Right.
And what's so interesting, this is what so many people do not tell you about music academic institutions, especially like Berkeley, because it's so well marketed as a modern music school.
Right.
There is not a single piece of core curriculum at Berkeley College of Music pertaining to the music industry.
Really?
Not a single class. They have the coursework.
Right.
And it's lecture style. They have a class called Legal Aspects of the Music Industry. It's
Right.
a part of the business major that lays out just like the basic language. It's not even like anything fancy, but enough to the point where like you'd know like what you tend to see in like a produce, like, and they're taught by bar certified music attorneys,
Right.
and really good ones. And like at the end of the class, like, I mean, it was always crazy to me that it wasn't a core requirement.
Yeah.
But there are some writers who leave Berkeley without knowing what a PRO is.
That's absurd.
And it's a problem. It's an ethical, moral failing as much as it is an academic one.
That's a lot, because you know what? I've now that I look back on it, which is kind of crazy. A lot of songwriters like reach out to me, because I don't know if you know this about myself, but I'm like a very big songwriter advocate. I'm part of Songwriters of North America.
Oh, amazing.
I am not fucking quiet about trying to get songwriters' rights and whatever. And most of the people I work with know that about me. So they'll always ask me like questions, and like I've gotten a lot of questions from Berkeley people.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, why do y'all not know that? Like,
Yeah.
why do I didn't go to? I have a degree in psychology. Like,
Right. And it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I like, there were so many things. I mean, like for me, like I was at school when Taylor Swift made the public decision to like re-record all her masters.
Right.
And like, she's not doing that because she did different chords.
Right.
Like there's a complicated industry, and it's not necessarily out to kill you, but it's built to prey on naivety.
yeah.
And it's to me, I was like, always, I want to understand. And it's like not something I want to wait till my last semester, because it's like I'm recording and writing music. Like the copyrights
Right.
that I'm creating, even though I'm in an academic institution, are real.
Yeah.
And like there were songs that I had that like blew up. I didn't know to ask for like master participation on songs that have millions of streams.
Yeah.
I did it while I was at Berkeley.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was always really lucky, because I was in a indie pop duo. I was in a band.
Right.
And we were like, I was producing everything. It was just me and the other guy. And we got management like pretty quickly. And from the time that band ended to when I was songwriting and producing for like other people, I always had a manager.
Right.
And I had a great manager who like, I never really got like a bad deal. There was one deal where I wish I asked for more, but I needed money, and
Right.
I just took the money at the time. But other than that, it's like I never got a bad deal, because I had a manager that would explain things to me and make sure that like I didn't get fucked over. And there's so many people who like come out to LA just starting out as a songwriter producer who don't have managers
Yeah.
to explain that this is not good, this is not bad. And I think the solution to that is one, listening to this podcast, but two, is not being afraid to ask. Like, I think one of the best things you did, like you reached out to me when you were like kind of talking to publishers.
Yeah.
And it's okay to ask other producers who are more experienced or other songwriters who are more experienced, be like, hey, what do you think of this? Is this fair? I think sometimes people get like afraid to ask that. And I think so many, if not all of us, are more than willing to like give you our 2 cents and help out and educate.
And refer people to like managers or attorneys or what. It's like it's true whether you're at a music school, whether you're like just making music or setting up guitar loops online, or like in LA or Nashville or wherever, like doing the music thing professionally. Like the best thing we have is each other.
Yes.
And it's so important that we lean into our musical communities. Especially, there was so much that I still like didn't know when I graduated, even with a music business degree, that I learned by talking to producers, talking with peers, and having friends of mine who were like 5-10 years older than me, and just who had been through the ringer a bit more and just knew just enough to reach me where I was at and pull me forward.
No, of course. And it's, I think the thing too is that as a producer, like, I just focusing on producer because this is a Producer Points podcast, but we make very different deals, is that don't be afraid to ask for things when you're making deals.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised what you can get just by asking, because like you said, a lot of, especially major labels and sometimes managers who aren't the nicest and the most, in my opinion, moral, they're kind of hoping, like you said, like they're preying on your naivety.
Yeah.
They're hoping that like you don't ask for certain things. They're hoping that you don't ask for master points. They're hoping that you don't ask for streaming bonuses. They're hoping.
Oh, yeah. There's never been a single time where I've asked for a record one royalty that anyone said no, even when I wasn't successful.
Right. I mean, the thing that surprises so many people is that I do a ton of vocal production, and I tell people all the time, like, oh yeah, I usually get a point or two. They're like, wait, what? As a vocal producer? I'm like, yeah. I'm bringing, I feel like I'm not just engineering. I'm not just hitting record and then giving it to the producer. Like I'm giving, notes. I'm usually coming up with like ad libs and harmonies.
Yeah.
And, like, if I really wanted to, like, there's been times where like I felt like I could have asked for publishing, but I didn't, because I have a decent amount of respect for songwriters. But I was just like, but I also wanted to share in the record's success.
Totally.
And so, yeah, it's just like being aware of what that really everything is a negotiation because we're not in a union. There's no set rules.
Yeah.
And we really can ask for whatever and just see what you get. And the worst is they say no. And fun fact, you as a producer can say no to things too.
Yeah.
I think we're so afraid to say no.
Yeah.
But it's really powerful.
I've been in that. I think, especially when you enter into a city like LA or Nashville, you get into the whole mindset of like say yes to everything early on. And then it's like you have to put into practice like, hey, I can't take on like indie project that's been at the same place for 5 years that isn't going anywhere anymore.
Right.
And it's tough. It's like you lose a little sleep at night over that first.
Yeah, dude, it's especially if it's an indie project. I don't know if this is what you were alluding to, that like you've been working on for 5 years.
Yeah.
Like there's been times when like I've worked with people where I'm like, man, I believe in you, but something's not right here. I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's your team, but I'm putting in a ton of work.
No, it's always the worst feeling when you like feel like the artist isn't like putting in there, and when you are putting in your 110%.
Yeah, and the thing is too, is all the most successful artists, you will find the one thing that they have in common is that they are the hardest working people in the room.
Oh, seriously?
Every single time.
Yeah.
It's like no matter how big they are, every single time you're like, oh, like these people are fucking amazing and they're so hardworking.
And their work ethic inspires like. I mean, the work ethic of the people in the room to do their best.
It's like a good boss.
Yeah,
it's like,
just. I mean, when I see like someone like Mercer Henderson, who's like crushing it in the indie scene, and she's signed on a great team. She's been doing like she's still a student,
right?
And she's done 3 opening sets of tours this year.
That's crazy.
And it's just, I'm like, that's the sort of like thing that I'm like, I want in on that. Yeah. And it's like, I'll compromise on my rate. I'll do whatever to like just stay in on projects where it's just like. I see the work ethic, I see the initiative, I see like the vision of like where this could be. And I mean like all the great songwriters and producers like do that. I mean like someone who had a meteoric year this year, Steph Jones.
Yeah.
I mean like she's been
been doing the thing for years.
The thing with Sabrina for years.
Yeah.
Back when she was like still like a Disney Channel star.
Yeah. And I first worked with Steph, almost 10 years ago now, 9 years ago. And even then, she was doing the Sabrina thing.
Yeah, no, like she was on it. Yeah. And I know other producers who were like, Steph came to and asked them to sign on. And they're like, yeah, I don't know. Right. And they're like kicking themselves right now. But it's it's like, it's not always a straight path. And I mean, like, I think for me, like this whole year, I've been acutely aware of like how quickly the moment happened. Mm-hmm. And it's in so many ways, I'm like, I feel like I'm laying now the groundwork for the moment that just happened.
Yeah.
And it's to make it happen again, you have to.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've said it on almost every episode, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. I don't know a person who that's not true for in reality.
And it's so funny. I saw so many people like on TikTok just like accuse like people like Dasha of being like industry plants. And I'm just like, the best thing that happened when I went into the comment section. Every single person that Dasha has worked with in LA in Nashville over the past like 3-4 years was in the comment section being like, no, she's been in this for a second and she's a real one.
Yeah.
And
it's, dude, the industry plant thing is so fucking funny.
It's hilarious. Yeah. Because it's like,
what does that mean?
It's a floating signifier.
Yeah.
It's not a real thing.
Right.
It's like, of course it's planted. You have to like invest time and energy and like have a, like, of course there was a marketing plan. Like, of course there were like, I mean, like I remember when Dasha showed me the dance for the first time. And like she held on to that for months. They put out that dance right before the album dropped, not when the single happened. Right. Austin was out for months when it blew up. So I mean, it's always that like.
So you're telling me there's a team of people that made a song blow up that millions upon millions of people listen to? It's no shit.
It takes a village. It takes effort.
I think what the difference is that back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, it was a lot more hidden because there was no internet.
Right.
But like now you see, oh God, I'm forgetting what the movie is called. You should 1,000% watch it. It's the movie about that music manager who like managed like Alice Cooper and Ozzy Osbourne and stuff. Mm-hmm. Something, it's last name Goodman. I don't know. I'll put it in the show notes. But it's a really amazing documentary about this manager that really did like unconventional things, and it talks about how Alice Cooper, especially, like Alice Cooper loves this guy. Everything that like everyone was like, this guy's fucking crazy was it was marketing.
Yeah.
It was all marketing, but like people didn't understand that back in the day.
It's all very it takes intelligence. It takes years of like knowledge. It takes a ton of research.
Yeah.
I mean, even after the moment happens,
No.
It's like, how far do you stretch a moment?
Right.
Artists like Dasha and Mercer, like, know, like, they have managers and teams that read into where their fans are.
Yeah.
And so when they're doing live shows, they're like choosing, like, oh yeah, Mercer's going on tour with like Will Lindley because there's a lot of overlap in their fans, and he's going to places where Mercer's fans are, and in creating these opportunities to expand listening. And I've seen plenty of artists like have moments come across the table, have opportunities right in front of them, and flub it.
Yeah.
And it's not, oh, you blew up on TikTok, you made it. It's like, and also if you look at artists like Chappell Roan, they had moments like, I think like Pink Pony Club happened 2 years ago.
More. Pink Pony Club came out almost 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And at the time, like, she was also dropped from her label.
Yeah.
And it's like now she's come back over time, building up to even a higher level of success with Good Luck Babe and Red Wine Supernova. And
her story is like one of my favorites. I think
Yeah.
it's just like such a meteoric rise, but like same thing, has always been doing it, was working part-time jobs, got sent back home. You just hear it over and over and over again. I want to move on to talk about our first song deep dive that we've obviously been talking about a lot, but Austin, quote, or not quote, parentheses, boots stop working. I know that was added on after, which I think is hilarious because people are so stupid sometimes. But
listen, if it was part of why the song has reached the streams it has now, I'm not mad.
It's just I'm always so funny where it's, do we need to dumb it down that much?
Just a little bit of SEO.
It's so funny.
But it's great now because you can search lyrics on Spotify.
Yeah, exactly. Like now it's like, I always find it funny. But obviously one of the year's biggest hits, amazing record.
Thank you.
I'm just going to give you a couple more compliments here, but
far away.
It's like, great.
It's like, lay it on.
No, but like really, like everything about the record to me is like perfect. Like it's really well balanced, really well engineered. The arrangement is great. Like you never at one point as a producer did too much on that record. So I really want to compliment because it's so easy to overproduce. And you just didn't. I think I'm assuming you just realized that the song was good and everything else is going to play its place here. But I wanted to talk about a couple of the specific elements here. The first one is the kick in the song.
Yeah.
What is that, hitting on the electric guitar or on the guitar, or is that a real kick?
So it's a couple of things. Okay. I think there's 4 layers to the kick. There's an acoustic kick. Okay. There's a medicine kick that's in there.
Ooh.
That's just giving it a little oomph, the punch. Yeah. And then there's it was Adam, Cheyenne, Dasha, and I just
stomping
on the ground. And it was kind of funny when I moved into my studio in Sherman Oaks. We had this, it has a crawl space, and I was always like a bit weirded out that there was like parts of the studio floor where it sounded more hollow than the other, but it ended up like being part of the kick sound now.
How did you, because it's funny, I was eventually going to ask about the claps and stomps, but how did you go? Because recording stomps is actually a little bit more difficult than people realize, but how'd you go about it?
So I think I at the time I was recording everything on like my TLM 102. Great. So I just pointed that at the floor and we just all stomped together.
That makes sense because that thing is so fucking sensitive.
Yeah.
And it picks up everything.
I love that. All of the vocals, all the strings, all the guitars on that was TLM 102 into a real Avalon VT737.
Wow.
That's every organic element on that record was just like recorded to that.
Right there.
And the claps are a medicine sample again, but it's like this Foley sample where it's just a bunch of
it's a bunch of real claps.
And I put it into Logic's Quick Sampler, and I just button mashed my keyboard.
So that's how you're getting all the different pitches and
and Logic has a great setting in it. No, I don't think any of the other DAWs have this, where it's smart quantized, where it will take a cluster of notes and instead of snapping them individually to the grid, it will find the center line of that cluster of notes and quantize the center line.
Oh, that's cool.
So it stays messy, but it's on the grid.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like kind of like Pro Tools enabled to have things similar, but it's not like that.
It's a very specific like Logic algorithm. It's like in the region inspector, which, by the way, if you're in Logic, it is the key to all known power in the universe is the region inspector. Okay. It's got so many fun tricks.
Yeah.
But doing that just created most of the groove, and then there was also just like a muted guitar
right.
that kind of used as a shaker.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Right. I mean, like, that's the beauty of acoustic guitars is they're so percussive and they're, like, leading the rhythm.
No, right? Adam Wendler was the main guitarist on that song. I layered in some guitars, and I think this other guy, Johnny Vergara, layered in some guitars as well. Nice. But I was, like, very traditional producing Adam's performance. Yeah. And just like I told him, like he had the main guitar part on Austin is 2 layers. And so it's one where he's way further up the neck, one where he's more down. Both of them are palm muted. Funny thing is, it's called the percussion part. He later told me it's called Travis picking, and it's funny because the city of Austin is in Travis County.
Yeah.
So it's all pretty like serendipitous. But so that was the main like percussive parts of the record.
Okay.
Were those. And yeah, it was kind of funny because I talked with Dasha afterwards, and she had forgotten that we didn't do real claps for Austin. Right. I was like, no, those are samples.
It's like, they're technically real.
It's like, yeah.
You know, it's like they are, but they're not, but they are. But I mean,
also, real claps are hard to record.
Oh, they are. It's because real claps are so dependent on the room.
Seriously.
And like, I mean, I've never been able to record a really great clap because obviously this room is pretty dead.
Yeah, it's dead.
Because I'm mixing here. And, you know, same thing with like gang vocals, like anything like that. Like, it's all about the room. And, you know, I've learned just through this podcast, like anytime I'm like, how'd you get those like great sounding claps or gang vocals? Like, oh yeah, I had a huge living room.
Yeah.
It's like every single time you're like, oh, okay. Fuck.
Yeah, it's the reverb.
Yeah, that's just what it is. And it's something that like VSTs just haven't been able to like, duplicate as well yet for some reason. Just, I mean, I guess it's the randomness of a random living room.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But even like all the good, like the Sound City, is that what it's called? The UID?
Oh yeah, the chambers?
Well, not the chamber. It's like the one where you could like choose the mics in the room.
No, I think those are it's Capitol Chambers?
That's one. But this one is like...
No, it's the Sound City one. I know the one.
Whatever. I think our listeners
raving
know
about it. Ocean Way Sound.
Yes, that one. That one. I was like, what is it? And then there's another one that everyone kind of sleeps on that I actually kind of prefer by Purified Audio. That's called Panda Rooms.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's the same thing as that Ocean Waves plugin, but actually it's way newer and it's, in my opinion, like better. That one like kind of lives on my template as I just want to put something in a room and I can just click it up there. It's actually really good. You guys, everyone should check that one out. Other thing in there, is there a mandolin in that record? No. What is it? What's that like more high pitched guitar? Is it
That's
just
his guitar? Yeah, Adam was way up the neck.
Okay, it's because it sounds like a mandolin. I was like, is that a mandolin?
A lot of people were like, oh, it's a banjo. It's all acoustic guitar. There's no banjo. There's no mandolin. It didn't sound like a banjo to me. There's banjo and mandolin in Bye Bye Bye.
Right, yeah.
But it's all acoustic guitar in Austin.
That's crazy.
And
so just like really well played. Yeah. That's the thing. Like I'm a very proficient guitar player, but I love when I have my buddy Russell Henson come over and he does guitars for me all the time just because I'm like, I want to, kind of what you said, I want to sit in that producer's chair and listen and be like, ooh,
yeah,
what if you try it like this? And I don't know. Like if I could not play any instruments on my records, I would love that.
Oh, that's very Nashville of you.
It is. But
yeah, and it's great because Nashville has, like, I mean, the whole session musician culture is pretty cool.
Yes.
And I mean, having someone like Adam Wendler come in, who is just the craziest folk guitarist I've ever worked with. Yeah. And he is like as twangy and country as it comes. And he's incredible. He's also the sweetest man you've ever met, Canadian guy. Yeah,
it makes a huge difference. And it's just like, I don't know. I have like people, session players in LA that I use a decent amount. Like I have a drummer, I have a guitarist. I end up doing piano because I am a decently good piano player. But you know, it's just, man, I wish every artist had a budget to just pay everyone all the fucking time to like just do that. And
no, it's so much fun having the session musicians, and everyone brings their own flavor. It's this whole new thing.
Hey gang, I just wanted to pop in here to let you know that the best way you can help this podcast grow is to rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts. It tells the algorithm to push our show to other listeners so we can grow. And it's one of, if not the best way to help support this podcast. So if you wouldn't mind, take a second to rate this podcast. Sharing it with your friends would be amazing too. All right, back to the pod. You know what might be fun to talk about is how do you go about bringing in session players to make sure they're getting taken care of? What's like kind of your approach?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately with Dasha and the upstream, obviously, like when you upstream a song, it all goes union. Right. So, and I've actually done the union session musician work before. I did one on LAX for Claire Rosenkranz. Cool. I did like a mellotron part. Yeah. And the unions on the major label stuff, they do it. It's all AFM. It's all very like kosher. It's a good payout rate. I think with that, I always try to talk with session musicians, and for the most part, I'm pretty self-proficient, so I don't have a ton of session musicians on my records. But I was trying to negotiate a good rate and make sure that I try to be a part of those discussions.
Yeah. Well, it's because usually it's like I'm the one bringing the people in because these are my guys or gals that like I want to bring in. So it's weird that it's like a weird like role for producers sometimes where it's like I have to like kind of negotiate and be like, well, they have this budget and they really want to bring you on. It's weird that it falls on us a lot of the time.
Yeah, no, it's definitely
which I don't mind. I love making sure my friends get paid. So,
yeah, for sure.
It's always like
I find that sometimes with indie stuff where I'm bringing on mixers and just making sure like, because some of my mixer friends, you know, they're newer to the game, they're hungry, they want to get opportunities, but I'm also like, okay, just don't completely work for free, ask for a percentage.
Yeah,
like
you need something,
get something out of it. But and I always am like, if you're working for free or less than what you are, like take percentage, take more percentage.
Yeah.
Stress that like it's because you believe in the success of it.
Yes.
And that you are structuring your composition in a way that allows you to work with them at where they are, but also to take like have a bigger upstream fee.
Yes.
Or something
exactly.
Like that,
yeah. Like that's the thing that I don't know if you listened to the episode with my very, very, very good friend Yanni AP, who's a mixer.
I didn't listen to that one yet.
It was the only mixer episode last season, and he's the mixer I use the most.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he would also be, even if like he wasn't a good friend.
Right.
But I genuinely really love that man. But his advice, which I think is right, he's like, as a mixer to get started, like you just have to like mix things and like mix things for free, but that doesn't mean you can't ask.
Yeah.
For like, but like you just have to do work because like you said earlier, it's like good work begets good work. And if you mix a record for free, that like, even
it's
if
so
like
tough with a mixer as well.
Yeah, it's tough. But like, even with it, even if it's like a record that people in the industry love that doesn't even have big success, but everyone's like, "Ooh, man, that
Airbnb was for me.
right, exactly,
Yeah.
right." It's like that one like indie record that people just really want to latch onto. Like for me, it was Ash. Like I worked with Ash, and I did a lot of her early stuff, and that's how I got in a lot of bigger rooms.
Right.
Because like Ash was not nearly as big as she was now, but everyone was like, "Ooh, fuck, Ash is cool."
Yeah,
and you're doing the cool thing.
It's kind of interesting. I've had discussions. Do you know Paul Famous?
Yes.
He worked on
yes,
Claire stuff.
I worked with him years ago, but yes.
He's the sweetest man ever in the industry. He and I had a discussion recently where it's like, is it better right now to have a Shabuzi cut or a McGee cut?
Right.
And it's just like, there's an argument for like that McGee's the better one. Because it's like, if you think about, like, I mean, I was thinking about like someone like Jonas Shai.
Right.
Where he's at. He's probably getting as much work because of his work with Annika as he is his work with Shawn Mendes.
Yep.
Maybe more from Annika.
Yep.
Because like, I mean, the industry is like, and I'm this way. Like, if Annika doesn't make it, I'm killing myself.
Right.
So, because she's incredible.
She's so good. For Annika Bennett.
Yeah.
Yes, that's for because people didn't realize that.
Yeah. No. If you haven't listened to her, she's
incredible.
Yeah, she's
one of my favorite writers, artists.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so funny because I haven't made a ton of money with the records that I did with Ash.
Right.
But I've made way more money from those records with Ash indirectly because people are like, I love this record and I want to work with you because of it. So that's like kind of like the thought process too that like people need to like producers and songwriters where it's like do stuff you love because sometimes like you get amazing opportunities because of them.
Seriously,
like,
yeah.
That sometimes people don't understand those connections, and I think it's so important too.
No, I mean I'm lucky with the Austin moment because it converged with this cultural shift towards country music, where it was like a part of a quadruple whammy of Texas Hold'em, Austin, Bar Song Tipsy, Miles on It, where all of a sudden like it was also like LA made country.
Yeah.
Which historically, if you actually look at it, there is a lot of big country records that were made in the West Coast. But it was kind of this special part of this 3-month period where all those songs like wiped the floor with everything
like,
else.
What's happening? Like,
and it was just like, holy shit, country's back and with a vengeance.
And just to like name drop for a second, because I'm so proud of these people. Like I had met you after Austin, but some of my closest friends, like their lives changed because of Tipsy and Texas Hold'em. Like,
I know. Also, you worked with some of the people who had worked on Texas Hold'em.
Yeah, I worked with most of them. So that's like Nate is like a very, very good friend. I work with Bulo a ton. Yeah, it was just like crazy, like seeing so many people's lives change from like these songs. It's my favorite thing.
And the beautiful thing is also, I mean, it's lucky because country is still good to songwriters.
Yes.
It's an industry in which radio is a crucial piece of the marketing puzzle.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to like still see. I never expected to like ever have a situation where I made more money off of songwriting than producing.
I mean, that's the thing. When it goes to radio, you do.
Yeah.
Like that's why everyone is so obsessed with you can push to radio, right?
Yeah,
radio,
and it's why everyone in LA right now is trying to like write country.
Right. It's like we want the radio hit, and it's like right now for songwriters to make money, it's radio and K-pop because people buy physical albums and K-pop.
The publishing world has been such an interest. That's all brand new to me. Is sort of like being a published songwriter and doing like the single craziest publishing dating period you've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, we talked. So, I mean, Jessica, my manager, and I think we talked to nearly 20 companies.
Yeah.
And it's just it's madness, and it's like there's so many ways to skin it, and I've seen so many people who like.
Who did you end up signing yet?
I did. So I signed with Reservoir.
Okay, nice.
I have to give so much credit to like my manager Jessica for helping me out with that, and also to all the just different people in my creative community who I was like consulting the whole time through.
Yeah.
And I think so much of that was like I was lucky. So I was lucky that back with the Aimee Vant Airbnb moment, I missed so many opportunities during that. Like I'd say I missed more opportunities than I seized during that time.
What do you mean?
And I felt the weight of that. I mean, there was things that came across my table. I wasn't fully moved into LA when Airbnb had its industry moment.
Right.
And so I really to this day feel like there were so many things that like came across my desk, so many opportunities that I could have had if I were more properly in LA. Right. And so I walked away from that like with a lot of regret. And it was a great thing because I'm like, okay, the next time that like these waves happen every once in a while, next time that this happens, I'm not missing anything.
Right.
And so like when it came time to do the whole like crazy, like dive into the craziness, do the madness of figuring out what my musical infrastructure for the next 3-5 years looks like I was like, I'm not playing around with this. I'm not missing opportunities. I very quickly signed on Jessica as my manager. And very early on, and she's been the best. And it's been fun because we've been like building together, and she had everything you need out of a producer manager. Yeah. And it's also like having good business infrastructure around yourself. I mean, now that it's all settled in, I have a great music attorney. Right. I've got a great manager. I've got a really awesome publisher. And it's just like signing on with people who have a sense of strategy and have a sense of like understand what you're trying to do and see ways into it that you can't.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love that when I signed my first publishing deal, and I'm not blaming my old publishers, but my old publishers, I felt like I kind of had to baby them a little bit. And looking back on it, it's because I didn't really know who I was yet. Yeah. And now I know so clearly who I am and what I do in a room. And I explained that. I eventually sent to Pulse, and I explained that to my Pulse team. Same thing. We had very similar come-ups where it was like I had a song that was blowing up, and I was like, cool, like, I'm talking to literally every publisher and like really having to like figure out like what I want in a publisher. And I was so upfront with all the publishers. I'm like, here's what I do in a room. Here's how I want my career to go. These are the kinds of artists I like to work with. Can you do that for me? Yeah. And some of them were like, that's not what we do. Some of them, including Pulse, were like, we can do that. Like we love that vision. Like, let's do it. And, you know, now it's like whenever they like throw me an artist or a songwriter, like, I haven't had a bad session in so long.
That's great.
And I've been like so thankful for that. Because they're just like, they understand me now. And I'm just like, amazing.
No, there are some publishers who like fill calendars. Yeah. It's what I appreciate is, especially for me, I chose Reservoir very specifically because I also wanted a Nashville publisher because Nashville publishers actually do a lot more than LA publishers. Yeah. And so I especially doing the country thing, I wanted the music row intel. I wanted to know like where to send off pitch because pitch is still a huge piece of the country puzzle. I wanted A&Rs, and I wanted a company also that functioned globally because there are some companies that have separate P&Ls between offices, and some of them like, so it's if you're like signed to a like Nashville office of one publisher, they're never going to talk to LA. And I've had multiple meetings with Reservoir LA. Yeah. And even like their London office has gone out of their way to do things for me. So it's like, it's signing on with someone where it's like a collaborative effort. And I mean, it was great because I knew going into that I would have a younger A&R on the team, Beth, who was like really hungry on the ground, like at the events. And then at the same time, someone super senior like Greg Gallo. And I was able to build an infrastructure around myself. And that was something that I learned just from what Dasha had done before Austin blew up. Was just like, if I'm going to like maintain a successful long-term career, I need good creative infrastructure on myself. Yep.
It's the most important thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean,
besides the songwriting. But.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even that, like the songwriting is going to be dependent on having great A&R and like an understanding of A&Rs who it's even a good thing, I think, to have A&Rs who are instantly going to throw you into the biggest rooms. Right. And it's like, anyone can be thrown in with Maroon 5, but it's okay. Do you want to be built into the worlds of the artists that you're working in? Do you want to be just thrown in, or do you want to be a little irreplaceable?
Dude, that's what, like, I think, man, I'm so happy you said that, because again, when I signed my first publishing deal, my expectations of them were like, yeah, put me in big rooms, let's go.
Yeah.
And when I saw my second publishing deal, and having lived a little bit, I was like, nah, that's not what I need from you guys.
Yeah.
Like that, like getting into a room that maybe is not right, or you have to work in the rooms that make the most sense for you. And yeah, it's cool to say that, like you said, I work with Adam Levine yesterday.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be successful. It's just not how it works. And I don't know. It's hindsight is always 20/20, but just,
I'm after rooms that kick my ass.
yeah.
I mean, over the course of the publishing negotiation, I have worked with some of the single best lyric writers, melody writers, just across the board writers.
Right.
And now obviously one of the people who Blake signed on to the Dasha moment once it started happening was J Cash.
Right.
And if you've ever worked with him, he lyrically is the craziest thing you've ever seen in a room. And it's just, it's weird because I'm a lyric-based producer. I'm actually more of a lyric writer in a room when I'm on the songwriting side. And so for me, it was like, okay, I've been actually outclassed by a lyric writer in that. And I got to also write with some of the craziest LA melody writers and see what that was like. And it's like being in those spaces where you're occasionally the worst. Like, you don't want to do it all the time because then it's demoralizing. But occasionally being the worst writer in the room is the best thing ever.
There's nothing better than, like, my favorite room is when, like, I'm in a room with an amazing lyric writer.
Do you pay attention to the sessions you have the week after that? Where it's like, and then it's just you feel the weight of that sort of power in a room. Yeah. And it's just, oh, wow, I'm more on my game because of that.
Yeah, no, it brings out, like, the best in you. And it's, my best. I mean, listen, there are times when I carry a room, but I don't like that.
No.
It feels good, a month after, where I was like, ooh, I led that room that did, and I wrote a sick song.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know, it's like so much, I get so much more out of it when it's like, that was a fucking amazing collaboration. And, like, wow, that person is so talented. Like, and I'm so, and I think what I do best personally is I'm able to, like, get the best out of people, I believe. And that's why I love working with, like, super talented people, where it's like, ooh, I can make you better, I think.
Yeah.
I really think so. So I wanted to ask how the write of Austin went. How did it all come together?
Oh, the write was so interesting. So we were writing a different song that Dasha had brought in the start for called Play Dumb, and it will never see the light of day. Yeah. Great song. It was just the wrong song to write. And I think it, like, speaks to the importance of understanding the emotional state that your artist is in. Because Play Dumb was a sad song. Dasha was not sad. She was fucking pissed. She was off the situationship with this guy, and it was becoming like, just, she felt like she was getting led on. Yeah. And we were writing the slower song. It's the same chords. It's the A minor, F, C, G. And I forget who in the room said it, but someone said, okay, if we sped this up 40 beats per minute, this could be a Dolly Parton song. And instantly Adam started playing the Travis picking for he started playing the new guitar part, and we were feeling it. First thing out of Dasha's mouth was, "Did your boots stop working?" Crazy. And we were all just, what's that? And it's so funny because collectively the internet lost its fucking mind over what do you mean, did your boots stop working?
Right.
Like, that's exactly the point. Imagine if someone was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't show up, my boots stopped working." Yeah. It's like, what?
It really is an underrated lyric. Because it's so stupidly simple, but you're like, it says everything.
It's like the Beatles, like 8 days a week.
Yes.
Where it's just enough to the point where it, like, makes you take a second look.
Right.
And I mean, like, I think that's such, like, an underrated skill within lyric writing. It's just like a lyric that can make you, like, be like, what does that mean?
Right.
It, like, makes sense, but it doesn't.
It makes I mean, again, I think 8 days a week is such a perfect example where that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard, but I also know exactly what you mean, and that's what makes it so great.
Yeah.
Right. It's not something you just, like, say in conversation.
That's something that, like, Ryan Beatty and Phoebe Bridgers, lyric writers, are so good at.
That's where I push back on, where it's, I know we were talking about J Cash earlier, but about just like making everything conversational.
Yeah.
And that's where I push back sometimes, where it's, yes, I think it's great to make most of your lyrics
I will say some of
conversational.
his best lyrics are kind of like, I mean, the non sequitur. Like if you listen to "Beautiful As You" by Thomas Rhett,
Right.
where it goes on a tangent at one point where
Yeah.
it's like you can have anyone you choose. I should stop asking questions.
Yeah.
It's just even then, it's the little bit of nonsense.
Yes.
Can go a long way.
Yeah, yeah.
I think with and then the rest of the lyrics, I mean, it makes so much sense. Like you have like a very like logical through line of like it's all very understandable.
It's storytelling. It's really solid storytelling at the end of the day. And I think, like
the story's
you said,
entirely made up, and that's the most fun part of it.
Dude, love that.
It's like Dasha had never even been to Austin.
Yeah.
It's just like I had. So there was some level of it. I was there for a volleyball tournament in high school. But at the end of the day, I mean, that song was a real emotion for her. Yeah. It was kind of funny in retrospect. It's just to go into how inevitable truth is when you're in a writing session. Is that like that song was real for where I was at my life in that time.
That's crazy.
Is that I was in a relationship and it was long distance. And I had all these anxieties about whether this guy was going to move to LA for me. Because when you're in music, one of the hardest things is you have to be in LA or Nashville.
Yeah,
you used to be able to be in New York, but that scene's kind of been bled dry.
Dude, I'm from New York, and I haven't worked in New York in so long, and I'm there 3 times
I think it's
a year.
just priced itself out of our artistic community. It's kind of sad to see.
Unfortunately.
But I was like in the situation where it was like, okay, our future hangs on to whether or not she'll move out.
Right.
And it's like the whole part of the lyric where it's like we had a plan, move out to like the West Coast together. And I was like anxious about it falling apart. And so for me, like I didn't realize it until the song blew up. And I was like, oh, I was writing that about that. As well, Dasha was writing her thing about that.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can never get away from truth in music. No. And it will always catch up to you. And if you try to like, the worst sessions are where like I'm with an artist who just like I see something in their life that I'm like, you aren't seeing this yet, and if I tell you this, you'll emotionally break down.
Yeah.
but no, it's kind of, it was just at this moment where like Dasha felt safe enough with me and Adam and Cheyenne to say like, hey, this isn't the song I need to be writing right now.
Right.
And we should pivot. And
so was it like a Hail Mary? Were you guys, do you think you would have ended it, or what was?
No, it was still pretty early on in the session. Yeah. But it was enough to, she was just like, this isn't working for us. Right. This isn't coming out. And I like, everyone's always asked, did you know it was a hit? Yeah. No, I knew it was special. Right. And it was enough to the point where I showed my roommate's also a producer. Right. And I was just like, dude, I know you're not like a huge country guy, but you gotta come hear this one.
Right. It feels good. Yeah, it's so funny. That's the one thing, that I've heard so many stories of big songs, and so often it's the second song of the day. And I've been trying to now do that in sessions where I worked with Dan Hennig.
I don't.
Dan's a great songwriter. He did that big Jack song, Victoria's Secret. Oh. But anyway, I wrote with him the other week, and he called it, like, that's why I brought up Hail Mary. Like, hey, you guys want to do a Hail Mary? Like, we wrote an entire song, and we had what we felt was maybe like an hour or two left. And I want to start doing that all the time now. Yeah. Where it's like, you write a song, and just be like, let's try and pump out another one, just to see what the fuck happens. And like, we don't get it, who cares? And I think that second song of not having the pressure, sometimes, I mean, for me, like, also Build a Bitch was the second song we wrote that day.
Really?
Yeah, it was like we had one. It was like kind of similar to you, where like we were writing it and it wasn't the thing, and we were like, let's start something new. And then
totally,
I don't know, it kind of like relaxes you a little bit for whatever reason. I don't know why. That's what I found. So many of the second song of the day for me, for other people, we're the ones. But
no, I mean, with the first song we didn't even get, like, I think I opened the Logic session for it, and it was literally empty. It was
it's like, we were just like doing a thing, and just like, whatever, we didn't even
and then I was just like, okay, let's change it, and then it was Austin. And I mean, it was something that, like, actually Dash's brother is a producer, this guy Bardo, he said to me once, just like, you gotta chase the magic. Yeah. And it's like, there's something to be said for like the path of least resistance in terms of going artistically to the thing that's working.
Yeah, I call that, and I say this in almost all my sessions, we're only going to write the song today that we're only going to write the song that we're going to write today. Mm-hmm. And it's like, cool, like, maybe this isn't for you, artist, but we're writing this song. Yeah. Let's just write it and see what happens. And it's happened so often where sometimes 6 months later, they're like, oh, fuck, this is a good song. I was fighting it first. Yeah. But like, this is great, and I need to release it. And sometimes they put it out for pitch, and it ends up being a big song. Yeah. But like, That's what happened with Build a Bitch too. Like we wrote it for Salem.
Yeah, it makes total sense. When I heard it, I was like, it's the Salem song.
Right, but Salem was like, I don't want to say Build a Bitch. That's not my brand.
Right.
But that's what I love about Salem is that she's so she has the same ideology where it's like, cool, we'll just write the song. Like we're here, we're gonna see this one through.
Yeah.
And I want to go on to the next song here.
Yeah, of course.
Mercer Henderson's No Strings Attached.
Yeah.
I hadn't listened to the song until I was doing some more research on you and learning. But dude, really amazing song. I'm really happy you picked this one. One of the things that I kind of thought was really cool, and I don't know if you meant to do it, but as the song's building, it feels kind of like Postal Service influenced. Maybe that you said Owl City, maybe that's more of the influence.
Probably.
But yeah, no, it's I don't know, the song just kind of goes on a journey. It like builds and it doesn't really go where you expect. But why don't you talk a little bit about that and how it kind of got started?
Yeah, so that was, I got to work with Mercer while she was visiting in town. She's currently still based in New York. But we got placed in a room together. We had written the song, and it was me, her, and the writer Savannah Sanabia, who's awesome. Okay. And we worked on the song for a while. It was sort of interesting because that was one that changed a lot over the course of the edit period. And like the production got a massive overhaul. We rewrote some of the verses, and we made a lot of changes over the course of getting the song across the finish line. Okay. And it was totally worth it, and it turned out so much better because we spent that time and because we were like crammed back in to rewrite the verse like right before we put the song out. Yeah. Like those were the changes. And I think it was a challenge also with Mercer being in multiple places, and this is where like artistic communities come into play, was that Mercer had to fly back and we didn't have time to do full vocals. So fortunately I had a producer friend of mine, this guy Tucker Bickel, who was able to do the vocal production in New York.
Okay, awesome.
And so like he was able to cover bases on that, and we fleshed out a ton of the record. I mean, she had came in with this story about this situationship, and just like the situation where like it's like this in the song. It's a promise, no strings attached. I thought I could live with that, but it really got emotionally involved, got complicated, and it's always a weird thing when an artist brings in like an emotionally traumatic situation. You're just like, this is really good. Yeah. But
it's like, I'm sorry you're going through this, but also I'm not sorry.
Yeah, but thank you for going through it for my sake.
Yeah.
And I mean, Mercer is just an incredible vocalist.
Yeah.
Just great vocal performance on the record. And I think like what was cool about the way that room operated is also that Savannah is like a big sister in a lot of ways. So it's like she's good with coming into situations and like making people feel emotionally safe to share these stories.
Yes.
And like having writers like that in a room is always the most important thing.
It's key. It's the only way to get artists to open up.
Yeah.
And feel comfortable. And yeah, I don't know. I love those people. I end up being that person a lot.
Yeah,
maybe that's my psych degree in motion.
No, I mean, I hate my mom was a licensed therapist.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's the same sort of muscle.
Yeah.
But it's important to set the tone of a room where like you feel safe to share anything.
Yeah. I think part of that, just a little bit of advice, is like I'm able to get people to like kind of open up because I myself am a pretty open book, and I have no problem like saying things I would never say on this podcast in front of an artist.
Right.
Just because, listen, like being vulnerable is a two-way street.
Yeah.
And I will tell you about a problem I'm having or someone that I know dying. Or it helps that I've had some of my own trauma to be like, yeah, fuck, no, I've been through that too. I think that's one thing that I wish I did a little bit more when I first started out. When I was first being a producer writer, I always thought that it was always about the artist, which it is. But I think it's if you're just gonna be, man, like a wall that the artist is just talking to, versus connecting with them.
Yeah, no, you
right.
Having that openness and having that rapport is so key.
You have to like. It's weird to say, but you have to treat it like a first date, where it's like, who wants to be on a first date where like only one person does all the talking?
No,
and it's you want to be. It's that again. Here's dating advice, but it's being a combination of a really good listener, but also a really good communicator, and not just sitting and waiting for your turn to talk.
No, like it's so important. And I mean, yeah, I mean, it's crazy when you're like we are like professional overshares.
Yes.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like we
You
come
have
into
to be. You
like,
have to be.
we just will be like, oh yeah, this like terrible thing in my relationship just happened.
Yeah.
And share it with someone who you've like never been in the room with before. It's a crazy thing how, and it's kind of funny because in my relationships, it's so funny because I would date guys and they would not be the most open immediately. And I'm just like, I've told you everything about me. Why aren't you doing this?
Right. What's happening here? Yeah, dude, it's really funny. That's like the plight of being a songwriter and an artist. And it's just like funny too, where I'm sure you have plenty of stories now, but I know so many oddly specific things about very famous people.
Yeah.
That is just like, I just have to obviously like, I keep my mouth shut and I would never tell anyone, but it's just, but I'm also like very glad that I know those things because it just like, it means I got to connect with that person and they trusted me. It's so hard for someone, the more famous you get, it's so hard to open up and be comfortable with someone because they don't know me. Like they could tell me something, I could fucking blab it to page 6 the next day.
Yeah.
It's really tough, but anyway, I'm sure you feel the same way. I'm like always super honored when someone just opens up and just spills their heart out.
Seriously.
Anyway, talk about a tangent. I want to get into a little bit more of the nitty gritty of this record.
Details.
I love the super clean guitar tone that is in the entire record. How do you go about recording electric guitar for that song or just in general?
Archetype Corey Wong.
Hey, there we go.
Archetype Corey Wong.
There you go.
Just it's perfect.
You just DI right into your interface? Or
I have an Apollo X4. Yeah, go straight into that and go into... Now I have Corey Wong X, which, by the way, if you do not have that yet, upgrade.
Yeah, it's free, right?
It's free.
Yeah.
And it's so much better.
Yeah.
They have like the doubler feature of the room.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and I'm just like, where have you been? Everything that I didn't like about the first thing is solved.
What's for our listeners? What are some things that make it a big difference to you?
The doubler feature on it is super nice. It's just perfect. I like the low pass and high pass on the EQ. Yeah. I like the room tones. I also I did a deep dive into it and tweaked every single knob and saw what happened. And I think it's important. I'm right now in the middle of an annual overhaul of my template.
That's how it goes.
And
I'm like every 6 months.
And I also got some great advice from recently from Nathan Dantzler, who mastered like espresso and lose control and does the mastering for the Dasha stuff. And he's like, don't necessarily shave off all your low end.
Right.
And so it's like, try pulling down low end instead of like low cutting or high cutting, just like that sort of stuff.
Well, most people don't realize that if every time you use a high pass filter, it actually shifts the phase.
Yeah.
A little bit. And the second I learned that, it's, like actually just doing more, just like bringing down the low end, not cutting it.
Yeah.
Can do a lot and keep everything nice and tight. Yeah, when I learned that, every time you do a high or low pass filter, it like shifts the phase. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Phase is fucking nuts.
Sometimes even if you need to use one, like doing it like 50, 100 hertz below where you technically need to, can like make a huge difference.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. Yeah, I like, it's so funny. I haven't done, I just got the X version of it, but I haven't dove into it because like I have my Kemper, my real amp, and I end up using those so much more often. But I do love the Corey Wong stuff. I'm a big committer, and I like to play.
Right.
I hate latency, and I like to play into an amp sound.
Right.
And that's why pretty much the only reason.
I'm lucky with Logic and having good low latency mode on that for.
Yeah. But even so, it's just because even like in what's it called, Ableton's pretty near zero, but it's just something I feel. Maybe it's in my head, and I'm just making it up. But I'm just like, man, I notice it. It's there, and like I don't like it, and I just move on from. I'm really looking to get the Neural DSP, the box.
Those are nice.
Yeah, I've heard really amazing things about that. Other thing I loved about that record was the drums. What was kind of your approach with the drums, and do you normally like to have like a drum bus kind of processing?
Oh my gosh, the drums were the hardest part of that record.
that makes sense. They sound great.
So. No, a lot of splice samples.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I did on that one, but I've shifted my drum approach recently.
Okay.
And I've started using the Logic Fat effects in parallel.
Oh, okay.
And so I'll sum everything into one drum bus. I won't put anything on it. I'll just use it to aux out to a parallel bus.
Okay.
And I'll do fat effects, and that has compression, that has bass enhancement, that has distortion. And I'll blend that in. Just has a nice way of making the drums sit well.
Yeah.
I used to go into Oxford Inflator and clip. I also have to give credit on that song. Matt Wallish did an amazing job of making the record pop.
The mixer, I'm assuming?
Yeah, Matt's awesome. He's Spike's synthesist and just killer mix engineer.
I think he just mixed a song of mine, actually.
And I think he did a Kesha song recently. He's been doing some cool stuff.
I feel like he just mixed an Abigail Osborn record. I didn't produce. I only wrote on it. So I was curious. Anyway, doesn't matter. I was like, that name sounds really familiar. So yeah, so you're like you don't really have to touch your drum bus too much. So you're just kind of like paralleling.
Yeah, I do it mainly for the sake of stemming out well.
Right.
But I mean, I'm very like I'll do clip gain to adjust my drum samples as I drop them in.
Right.
And I'll level everything with clip gain before I even touch the fader.
Are you doing any like side chaining to the bass or anything?
I think on that one I side chained to the bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean on that one, like there were a lot of drum layers. There were some like bit crush hi-hats, which I always liked.
The hi-hats are a lot of fun on that record.
Yeah.
That was the one thing I like noticed. I was like, ooh, those are pretty cool.
A lot of layering of like samples and loops on that one in particular.
It's the drums that feel the most Postal Service-y to me. And they're not as like toy sounding as Postal Service, but just like the patterns that you came up with feel like that. And I'm a huge Postal Service fan. So I think like when I was listening to that record for the first time, I was like, oh shit. I fuck with this. This is really nice. Wanted to also talk about the synths that you had on that record.
Right.
Are you using real synths? Or you a VST kind of guy?
VSTs.
What do you normally like to use?
I love the Arturia stuff. Like I put the Arturia Prophet and Juno and Jupiter into almost everything I do. I think there was a couple of VPS Avenger pieces of that one.
I've never used that guy.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like a juiced up serum.
Okay.
Sort of same wavetable principle. I'm trying to think if there was anything else on that I used.
Well, just speaking of those synths, because sometimes I feel like those, as good as they are, because I do love them, I feel like sometimes they fall a little flat. Is there any kind of tricks that you like to do post-processing wise to make them feel a little bit more alive?
A bit of decapitator, a bit of like EQ moves on them can go ways. Using some like Echo Boy and Valhalla Vintage stuff can be good. I feel like they've done a better job, like when they updated the Prophet. They did a good job of making sure that one's a little less like falling flat.
Yeah. I think that's a thing that I've noticed because I loved all the emulations of these real synths. It's so nice to have I have every synth ever made right in my computer. But then it's sometimes like whenever I use it, I'm like, it's just missing that thing that I can't quite explain. And I was gonna say like my usual solution is I'll put like a tape emulator or some like black box or decapitator on it, just to give it that little bit more of oomph that like I have my real Juno here that like you just can't get for some reason. Yeah. And I think it's fine, which like in this production, they're like the synths aren't the main thing.
Yeah.
They're very much supporting players.
I'm way more of an organic like producer.
Same.
So for the synths definitely took a bit more of a backseat on this one to like the guitars and then the drums and the bass. Yeah. But I also did have the chance once to get my hands on a friend of mine's JX3P. And one of the most fun things in Logic is that you can wire it up with MIDI, wire it up with audio, and you can create an auto-sampled instrument. Yeah. And so I have some auto-sampled JX3P that's in the record.
Dude, those guys are fun.
Oh, yeah. I want a JX3P. I should get one.
They have, like, very unique, dumb sounds, but sometimes it's just, that's what I want. Like
the higher arpeggiator, I think, is that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And
you know who makes a really good version of that? You ever use the Roland Cloud stuff?
I've heard it's CPU intensive.
It is.
Okay.
But I'm a big committer, so it like...
Right.
I'm just like, whenever every single time I like make a VST instrument, I'm committing it right away. Yeah. Because I like to work with audio more. So
that makes sense.
That's my solution to that. They are CPU intensive, but they do, like, their JX3P is, I see no reason to get, like, a real one. Yeah. It sounds really fucking good.
Yeah, that's good to know.
Yeah, you should check it out. I mean, it's like another monthly or yearly subscription.
Boy.
But,
some money.
It's the curse of being a producer, for better or worse. So I want to talk a little bit more producery here, and what's kind of been... some of your favorite tools or plugins the last couple months that you're like, ooh, these ones have been really invaluable, or even the last couple of years, we'll have those plugins that were like, oh, this is the one for me.
I'm gonna give the unconventional answer.
Okay, I love it.
My Focal Trios.
Really? What is that?
My speakers.
Oh, okay.
And here's the thing. There are so many producers who will throw thousands of dollars at plugins. Yeah. At the fun toys, at the fun instruments. Yeah. They will not spend a dime on their room. They will not spend a dime on the monitoring system when they have to. And it's just like you are operating in the blind with the best tools that you could possibly have, and it will make no difference if you have the best LA2A emulation in the world. Yep. It's not going to make, like, the fact of the matter is that I have a room that I have treated well enough, and I went in on the acoustics. When I moved into the place, I had like a laser measure. I like did the AMROT calculations. I went ham. I like had like, I did, like spent the money to have an acoustic consultant, like put everything in. I went so far as like, so the room that I moved into originally was a square, which would have been a nightmare.
I've worked in a square room.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
So what I ended up doing is that I had a closet in the back wall. I took off the closet doors and I built it into a nook. The other part of the back wall is just a hollow core door, so the bass isn't going to really be affected. Turned the room from 11 by 11 to 11 by 13.
Nice. There you go.
So making those sorts of changes, going to the extra mile to treat the room, have it acoustically well set up, has made all the difference in me turning around demos and day ones that sound so good.
I was literally about to say the same thing. It's like part of the secret to getting records out quickly is like having a room where you're like, okay, I know how things sound good.
Having a really good monitoring system. Yeah. And it's like that was advice that was given to me by like mastering engineers. Yeah. And they were just like, it's like build a monitoring system that you can trust. Yeah. And the focals are great. They're accurate. They're fun. You can plug in a foot switch and turn off the bass woofer because of 3 ways, and you can turn it into a 2-way.
That's cool.
And so you get like a bit more flexibility out of it. And it's awesome. I mean, I have a room that I know and I understand, and I'm able to make great records in. Yeah. I've built a satellite studio now in Nashville at the Reservoir offices. I had like Music City Acoustics come in. Right. And like I built like diaphragmatic absorbers. I went way too far for it. But it's like going that extra mile before all the plugins, before like, and believe me, I have my favorite plugins, and I'll get into them. But like the most important thing is that I know what I'm doing when I'm listening, and I don't have to like endlessly car test.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, the thing is too, it's because we have these discussions on the podcast all the time, is that yes, I know some of you guys are just starting out and you don't have the money to build out certain things. But if you're not going to have a good listening environment, at least have a stable one. Yeah. And that's usually the answer to that is headphones.
I will say this. Here's a fun trick that like some of my mix engineer friends have taught me is that if you have AirPods or if you have a car, you can remote display your iPhone. Yep. And you can do an audio movers link out.
Yep. That's how you do it.
And it's if that's enough to like, and for me, when I'm in different studios, in different environments, I'm not sure if I trust it fully. Yeah. I will come out and I will do a test on my AirPods.
My AirPods are my ultimate test. Yeah. Because what's funny is that like in my room, I don't listen to a ton of music in this room because this is where I work. This is not where I vibe. And I listen to, I'm going to say 70% because the other 30% is my car. 70% of my music on my AirPods. Yeah. So that's like my trusted source. Same. And like whenever I listen to a mix, I'll always come in my room to listen to it in here, but I trust my AirPods so much more. And I've done that a couple times where it's like I'm trying to get a thing out quickly and I'm like, all right, I'll do the remote thing and like work on my AirPods for a second just because like I know how things should feel on that, which is a weird thing, but I don't know, it's a good trick. But yeah, it's just I think stable listening environment, especially when you can't afford. Yeah. But no,
because focals were pricey.
Yeah, no. But that's the thing. It's like once you start making money, that's the same advice I give people too. It's start investing in your room, start investing in your monitoring.
Yeah, know that what you're hearing is going to translate.
Yeah,
it's the best thing you can give yourself.
Yep,
super. They're great. Like you can get Audis headphones. Yeah. You can do a car test, but like at the end of the day, like, and sometimes like I will say this. If you're in like the most wonk acoustical environment that you could ask for, throw HS5s into what you think might be the worst space. For whatever reason, if you throw HS5s into, I was in like a built-in closet in a wall in my bedroom at my parents' house. They like should not have worked. And like I made some of my best mixes on those.
Yeah, it's so well. It's also like you just know how things sound. This is the AirPods thing, right? I know how this should sound. This is what I listen to everything on. So therefore, like I can make good sounding records. On this, dude. I love that answer. We're gonna go on to our plug or unplug segment here.
Right on.
For you or first time listeners, plug or unplug is where I give you a plugin or a piece of gear and plug if it's something you love, unplug if it's something that you don't like. Bypass or make inactive if you've never heard of it before. And you can go into why or why not. It's totally up to you. First one, Sound Toys Radiator.
Are we talking radiator or little radiator?
Radiator. But you can talk about little radiator if you want.
Okay, I'll say unplug radiator, plug little radiator.
Okay. What do you, I mean, I think I know why, but Tell our listeners.
Little radiator just on a bass,
Yeah,
just instant translation machine.
it does the thing.
Yeah, just if you want the bass, because the psychoacoustic thing most people don't know, most speakers that you listen on will never replicate real bass. Right. And so you're hearing the overtones, your brain is filling it in.
Right.
And so when you have something that's a saturator, like Little Radiator, does a great job. I will say Radiator does a good job of the top end boost.
Yeah.
I like that a bit.
Yeah.
But for the most part.
That's when I reach for Radiator a lot. Especially I'll use it on vocals sometimes where I'm just like, I just need a little bit more. And I like what it does.
I'm a Saturn guy now.
I'd love Saturn. I never use Saturn on vocals, but I do love Saturn.
Yeah. No, Saturn Decapitator on vocals can be nice, but
it's beautiful. Next plugin. Curious if you know this one. The Goodhertz Wolf compressor.
Bypass, I've been told to use it so many times.
Yeah.
I was living producer feed before this year.
Yeah.
I don't have like every plugin I've ever been told to get.
Yeah.
But
working up to it. I love the Goodhertz plugins.
Yeah.
If you get
I've heard great things about Wolf.
If you get any of them, Wolf is fine. I like Wolf. It's like fun.
Is it a bypass for you?
For me, it's in between plug or unplug, where I don't use it that often, but the couple times I have, it like gives it a lot of character.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay. It's something I could live without, but I'm glad I have it.
Right.
I guess kind of a thing. My favorite plugin, I mentioned in almost every podcast, is their Tube plugin. It's like their tape and tube plugin, and that thing is fucking incredible. That's the one I'm like, everyone should get that one. It's so good. And I have a feeling you're gonna like it if you just talking to you and like learning about your taste a little bit. It feels like you're gonna like it. Next plugin, and I'm glad that you use the Arturia stuff. The Arturia Mellotron.
Oh, plug.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, I love that. Love that plugin.
Is there any kind of special ways you'd like to use it that are a little unconventional?
I've been loving recently like adding in like Motown flavor stuff, and it's just their string patches and they're really nice.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's good. It's my favorite of the VST Mellotrons.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah, it's like now I have a real one, so it's like I don't end up using it anymore. But it's that one's a lot of fun. I mentioned this, and maybe our listeners don't know that, but I love using that on Mellotron because you can put in your own samples in it.
I did not know that.
Oh, it's like kind of annoying because you have to move it around to make it on the right pitch, but it's really cool because it does the Mellotron thing to like any sample that you put in there.
I'll have to try that.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like because Pro Tools up until recently didn't have a good sampler, and I would like use the Arturia one like creatively, and it's like, oh, this is fun. But now I use Tim for that, and as Pro Tools is opened.
Nice,
but it's fun. You know, we were talking about this earlier. UAD Capital Chambers Reverb plugin.
Plug.
Yeah, it's great.
Plug. I love the Capital Chamber. I've been using that more recently.
What do you normally use it on? I've
been using it now for guitars.
Ooh.
And it's a nice way to make something, especially like for the country stuff that I'm doing. It's so good.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's like one of the things. It's like the most real sounding.
Yeah.
Reverb. I don't know how to describe it. It's my main vocal reverb. I also have it in my template as like my guitar verb as like a send to just be like, cool. I want this to feel a little bit more alive and
alive's the word.
Yeah. It's it's like an amazing plugin. They could have, knowing what I know now, they could charge $500 or $600 for it. I'd be like, well, I guess I am buying this for $500 or $600.
Yeah, no, it's great.
And I like now that they finally made the UADX version of it.
UADX.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that plug. I love UADX.
Yeah.
I've...
The computers are powerful enough now.
Yeah, I'm on an M1. I'm chilling.
I don't need your fucking processors anymore. Just give me all of them. I don't want to...
The shark cards. Yeah, I'm good.
I want to just be able to like work on my laptop sometimes if I'm traveling. Like
I think all the ones that I use now are UADX.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I'm like... There are a couple that I still need from UAD, but it's like most of the time I'm like using the UADX ones by default. Yeah. Like once they release those, I changed up my whole template where it's like, fuck the UAD shit. I want the UADX.
Yeah.
That's all I care.
I think the only UAD thing I have now is my Oxford inflator.
Yeah, right. Same.
Which I just need to
buy.
They
do have a native version of it.
I know. I
same. It's like I already bought this one. It's like, why do I need to buy that one? I know. It's really fucking annoying. All right. Next plugin is, let me see. I always have more on here that I need to ask for. Okay, I'm curious about this one. Baby Audio's Smooth Operator.
Bypass, I haven't used it yet.
Yeah. It does a GoFoss kind of thing. It's like intelligent EQ.
I've used a few of those sorts of plugins. Yeah. I just don't find myself reaching for them as much.
Yeah. Do you like use like GoFoss or Soothe or anything like that? Or
I don't have Soothe. I've used GoFoss before. I have occasionally will use like the Neutron Sculptor stuff, but I feel like I'd rather like use compression, dynamic EQ, and I feel like sometimes like the soothe thing can like smooth out a record a bit and dull it.
I agree. I'm only reaching for soothe now when I'm like, fuck, like this thing is pretty harsh.
Yeah.
And I do use soothe on most vocals, but it's like doing so little.
Right.
And I don't even know if it's making it on the last mix, to be quite honest, a lot of time, because being in Pro Tools, I'm able to just set my Pro Tools session to mix it. I'm like, it's there. You can turn it off. I don't care. Yeah, but the just talk about the smooth operator. It's like, it does that thing. I like to use it. It's fun to use it in extreme ways. So again, it's like one of those plugins where I wouldn't either plug or unplug. It's like I'm not telling people to buy it. Yeah. But it's like one of those things where it's like I work with Baby Audio, so I get all their plugins for free.
Oh, nice.
So I'm glad I have it.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. Next plugin is one we ask on every plug or unplug because we get very funny responses. And let's get your 1000% real take. CLA vocals.
I don't use it, but I'm going to give it a plug.
Okay.
I think that I know a lot of people who get a lot of utility out of it.
Yes.
I think there's value to building your own vocal chain. I think there's like a lot that you learn by doing that and a lot that you can create your own flavor. And I've gotten to the point now where mine's pretty stable. Right. I'm trying out some new stuff. I'm going to try out like I got the CL1V plugin recently. Yeah. But it's just, I think like there is something to like having, it's kind of funny because by the time that I've built my vocal chain now, it's like I'm still making 70-80% of the time the same moves. Yeah. And it's like you have a plugin that's doing that as well. All power to you. I mean, I went actually at NAMM last year. I went for Oxford Inflator. I went over to the Oxford people. I'm like, okay, so what is it actually? What is it doing? Yeah. And I'm like, I still don't really fully get it.
I don't know.
I don't care. I like it.
Yeah. I don't necessarily need to know what a plugin is doing.
Yeah.
I just like, and I always joke where I actually like the less options, the better.
Yeah.
I'm just like, just make it just sound good. That's all I care about. That's why people love OGT. That's why people love Oxford Inflator, where it's, oh, I do this and it sounds better. Great.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's cool. It's sometimes it's just sauce.
Yeah,
and it's
sometimes
fun.
It's the thing where I don't have this happen a lot because I'm with you. I have my vocal chain. I barely have to touch it.
Yeah,
it just sounds good. I know how my mic sounds, but there are records sometimes where it's this needs the CLA vocal like hype.
Right.
I rarely make records like that, but when I do, it's okay. This is what it needs, and it's there it is.
And a lot of people who like do vocal recording and they want to have more of a mixed vocal sound when they're recording, and it's low latency, it's easy, it's there.
Yeah. I also say this is maybe controversial. I don't think people should be recording with CLA vocals because it just hypes it up so much, and you're like not really. I don't know. It's
I'm the same. I'm like an asshole about vocal recording. When I vocal record, I go in, I use like a UAD preamp.
Yeah.
I use a little LA2A occasionally, like EQ shaving off the low end. And then like that's until I'm done with the edit, I don't mix the vocal.
You know what I use in console? That's really great when you can use it inside there too. I don't know how much latency it causes. But I use Inflator in console because a lot of times people are like, I want to hear myself more. And just do that.
I'll have to try that out.
Yeah. It's like it's like the way to where it's it's not compressing, but it does the Inflator thing.
Yeah.
Where it's I don't want to compress you more, you're gonna sing differently.
Yeah.
I found it to be a really fun trick. Okay, I have taken up way too much of your time. Thank you so much for doing this. But before we close, is there any small piece of advice that you want to give to upcoming producers that you wish you yourself heard?
Yeah, I think. Gosh, there's so much I want to say.
Oh yeah,
it's this.
I mean, you have time. You can say as much as you want.
So. I mean, just reiterating, the best thing you have is each other. Don't work on your own. And that's and it's, to this day, that's the value of being in Nashville or LA. It's like you will have opportunities for mentorship, for just, you will never run out of new people to work with in a music city. And like a lot of this, 9 out of 10 times they're great. And it's really cool to like have those opportunities and to be in environments. Advice that I was giving, even as an LA native moving into LA, know who you are, know what you're doing, know why you're doing it.
Yep.
I have seen people lose their minds here.
Yeah.
Advice for Nashville, I feel like if you're a producer, you should move to LA instead of Nashville. And there's just some ways about the way that Nashville operates in their production industry that make it a harder climb.
No, I mean, it's a lot more gatekeepy. And
a lot of it's also the whole track guy thing, which I like. if I remain in any sort of level of influence in the production community in Nashville, and like the producers I admire the most in Nashville don't tend to do that.
Right.
I mean, like Sam Sumser does like the Breland stuff. Like
Right.
he'll co-produce stuff with people, but
Yeah.
he doesn't.
I learned
produce
pretty
people off.
quickly, like, I don't fit into Nashville because I'm a producer, but I'm I was a songwriter first.
Right.
And, like, I don't want to be a track guy. I don't know. It's not how I
Yeah.
work. So I think that's really amazing advice. Being, like, again,
Yeah.
that's something I wish I heard when I first moved out to LA, like 10 years ago. I would have been successful a lot faster, I think.
Yeah, I think there are so many people here who like come here to reinvent themselves.
Yeah.
And it's, you didn't come to LA
You were brought out here
blindly.
because of who you are.
Yeah. And it's
Right.
like people want some identifiability. And I think that's also like why like being a specialist in some ways is actually better than saying you do everything.
Yes, I agree.
And I see it's like if someone tells me like, oh, I'm a writer, I'm a producer, I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I'm like, I have no idea what I should call you.
Right.
And it's just the truth of it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of inevitable. It's if you're everything to everyone, you're nothing.
Yep, that's
I very early on was like, I'm a producer, I'm a songwriter, I'm not an artist, I'm not an engineer, I'm here to do this thing.
Yeah, dude, absolutely incredible advice. Like I said, I've taken up
Yeah.
far too much
Oh,
of your
you're good.
time. Dude, this has been, I mean, seriously, this was such an amazing episode. You've given so much great advice and great insight.
you.
Thank you to you. Thank you to our listeners. Check out Travis on all the socials to follow him and continue on his journey. And take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Producer Points. Your support means the world to us. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and share with fellow music enthusiasts. For an encore, check out our Spotify playlist featuring all the songs we've discussed on the show, giving you the perfect soundtrack to your creative journey. Additional audio and video editing for this episode was done by Nathan Rebello. Until next time, this is Justin Gamella.